Solo traveling, the form of self-improvement that 90% of people have never done. I've solo traveled through 17 countries in 6 weeks. The countries were all in Eastern Europe. And here's everything that I've learned, experienced, and why I think everyone should do it. So first of all, I recommend solo traveling to anyone. I think it's something that everyone should have done at least once in their life. And whenever I tell that to someone, I always get some kind of excuse. I always get some kind of excuse of I'm afraid, or what if this thing happens? What if I get robbed? What if I'm completely lost? What if I lose everything? And I always respond with, that is the entire point. This might sound very strange, but I hope it happens to you, because you're gonna figure it out. Plus, you've got a story to tell. And at the end of your life, what's more important? That you are always safe and comfortable, or that you've got a story to tell? I didn't get robbed, but I might have had similar experiences. That is just a part of life. That is a story you can always tell. Don't worry about it. You're not gonna die. It is safe everywhere. You're gonna meet people that you can do stuff with. You're gonna be safe. Nothing bad is gonna happen. And create some stories. You're gonna figure it out. It's not as bad as it seems. So, first of all, the first reason I recommend solo traveling to anyone, and I recommend visiting countries to anyone, is because solo traveling, or traveling in general, is accumulated intelligence. For every country that you visit, every person that you meet, every culture that you see, you're gonna take that information and experience with you for the rest of your life. And for every new country that you visit, imagine you meet someone from that country. Now you can say something to that person, you can tell something about it, maybe you can say a word in their language, and this opens up new conversations. And you never know what you might learn in a new conversation. If you visit 10 or 20 countries, imagine you visit the 10 or 20 most popular countries, then whenever you meet someone from any of those countries, you can say something to that person. You can have a conversation easier. So that is just something I've now visited more than 30 countries in my life, and whenever I meet someone in Europe, chances are like 80% that I've been in their country, so the conversation gets easier instantly. So second reason why is solo traveling so good for self-improvement is because you're gonna figure out what you actually want. When you're solo traveling, you've got no obligations, no planned activities, no friends, nothing you have to do. You're gonna wake up and you've got 16 hours to kill yourself. You could do absolutely nothing, and you can plan activities for the entire day. You can walk around in the city, you can go to museums, you can do stuff you've never done before. You can have the most spectacular day of your life, you can socialize, you can do anything. It is completely up to you. And that's where you're gonna realize, what do I actually want? And what I learned here is, in the first 3 weeks of solo traveling, my days were all spectacular. I was meeting a lot of people, partying, going out, doing all kinds of new things. But after 3 weeks, I figured out this was very fun, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And for the next 3 weeks, I was not really, how do I say that? I was fine with going home. And when I got home, I actually could work a lot better on my goals that I've got, going to the gym, working on a business, improving my life, building good habits. All of that got a lot easier because during solo traveling, I figured out that is what makes me happy at the end of the day, or I should say at the end of a month. So that is the first thing. Second thing is social anxiety. If you've got even just a little bit of social anxiety, then solo traveling is also going to help with that. First of all, you're going to need a lot of help. You're going to have to ask for directions. You're going to have to ask for recommendations. And you've just got no other option but to talk to people. Secondly, you're going to go to hostels, and chances are very high that when you walk into your room or when you walk into your hostel, there might be a group of people and they might just invite you to do something. Maybe you meet someone, that person might just invite you to get dinner, to walk around in the city, to do anything, to go to a bar. I've had that plenty of times, and at some point I realized I can do that too. And you don't have to be scared to do that too, because actually someone told me this during solo traveling at the beginning. During solo traveling, there are no social rules. You can ask anything to anyone. That is not a weird thing to do. It is a very normal thing to do. So if you've got just a little bit of social anxiety, it's very good to go to hostels, because you've got no other choice but to socialize. Then third point is the hostels itself. I don't know how to explain this to you, but a hostel itself is also an experience I think everyone should have at least once in their life. You're gonna be sleeping in a room full of strangers. You're gonna be sleeping with maybe 6, maybe 10, maybe 15 other strangers. In the first hostel I was in a room with 16 people, and sleeping is difficult in hostels, and there might be weird people. You might be very nervous. I was very nervous the first time I was gonna sleep in a hostel. I just, like, my heart was actually racing even though nothing was happening, because I don't know, it's just a weird thing to do. If sleeping with 15 strangers, it's there's just some kind of noise every second of the night, and it's difficult to relax. But at some point you get used to it, and you're gonna be tired enough to sleep anyways. So it's not that bad after all. Before you go to hostels, it might seem like a very big deal. After all, it's not that big of a deal. You're gonna be able to sleep as long as you wear earplugs. Then the last thing is, you're gonna create a lot of stories. You're gonna build experiences, or you're gonna get experiences, you're gonna meet new people, and you're gonna create a lot of stories. Some stories with others, and some stories are gonna be just stories of yourself. That is actually something that I don't like about solo traveling. There's not a single person that I can tell a story to about my solo traveling. No one was there. But like I said in the beginning of the video, a story is worth more than anything. You might be lost, you might be confused, you might be anxious about what to do, about how you're gonna solve a certain situation, because there's also gonna be times where you really just don't know what to do. You need to get to a place in the middle of the night and you have no idea how to get there, and you just might be completely lost. And when people are scared of this, I always say, that's where you've got a story to tell. And that, to me, is what matters at the end of my life. So just go solo traveling. Like, you can give so many excuses. I just want you to know it is worth it. It is 100% worth it. And it's something that everyone should have done at least once in their life. If anything bad happens, that's where you can tell a story. Good luck.